Hey everyone! Today we are diving into something called strategic management. And I know, it sounds like some super dry corporate buzzword, right? But stick with me here, because it's really about a company's game plan for winning. It's how you get ahead and stay ahead. Okay, let's get into it.
So to get our heads in the right space, check out this quote from the legendary football coach Vince Lombardi. I mean, this is the guy who took the Green Bay Packers, a losing team, and turned them into absolute champions. His whole thing was this single-minded focus on a clear strategy to win. It wasn't about being perfect, it was about that relentless chase for excellence. And that right there is the very spirit of great business strategy.
Exactly. Every single winning organization, whether it's a championship team or a Fortune 500 company, needs a game plan. So what does this business game plan, this strategic management, actually look like?
Well, here's the formal definition. It's the art and science of making choices. But what does that really mean? It means you look at every single piece of the business, your marketing, your finance, your operations, and you make sure all those different parts are working together, pulling in the exact same direction. It's all about making deliberate, integrated choices to hit your goals.
Now, this is a really important point that trips people up. What's the difference between strategic planning and long-range planning? Well, long-range planning just kind of looks at today's trends and says, okay, let's just project that forward. It asks, what will our business be? But strategic planning, that's way more proactive. It's about creating new opportunities. It asks a much bigger, much bolder question, what should our business be? You see the difference? It's about shaping your future, not just reacting to it.
So, how do you actually build this game plan? Well, it pretty much happens in 3 stages. Stage 1 is all about scouting the field. Just like a good coach studies the competition and their own team before a big game, a business has to start with a really honest look at the world around them and within their own walls. And that whole assessment process, it all starts with one simple but incredibly powerful question. Where are we now? I mean, think about it. You can't possibly figure out how to get where you're going if you don't know your exact starting point. This is the foundation for everything that comes next.
And the go-to tool for answering that question? It's the SWOT analysis. This thing has been around forever because it just works. It's simple, it's powerful, and it's an amazing way to organize your thoughts about the entire competitive landscape. This little 2x2 grid is the heart of it all. It's brilliant, really. It forces you to look at 2 things: what's happening inside your company versus outside in the world, and whether those things are positive or negative for you. This gives you your 4 key areas: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT.
So let's start with those external factors, the opportunities and threats. These are the things happening out there in the world that you really can't control, but you absolutely have to respond to. And notice how specific these examples are. We're not just saying online marketing is growing. No, we're saying it's growing at 11% a year. A competitor didn't just launch something new, they launched it 10% cheaper. Putting numbers to these things is what makes the analysis so valuable.
Okay, so that's the outside world. Now we have to look in the mirror at the internal factors, your strengths and your weaknesses. These are the things you can control. They can come from anywhere in your business: your management team, your marketing savvy, your finances, your production lines. It could be something really tangible like your inventory turnover, or it could be something intangible like that rock-solid reputation for quality you've built over decades.
Okay, so once you've scouted the field and you've got this really clear SWOT analysis, you move on to stage 2, drawing up the plays. This is the creative part. This is where you take all that data and all those insights and start to design your actual strategy to win.
So if we know our starting point, the next obvious and critical question is, where do we want to go? This is all about setting a clear destination, a powerful vision for the future that everyone in the entire organization can get excited about and rally behind. And this whole process, which we call strategy formulation, it breaks down into 3 core steps. First, you've got to develop your vision and mission. That's your purpose, your why. Then you set some real long-term objectives. We're talking specific, measurable goals, like increase our market share by 15% in the next 3 years. And finally, you generate and then choose the actual strategies, the big plays that are going to get you there. And this is so key. The strategies are the how. They are the specific paths you choose to take to hit those long-term goals. Are you going to grow by expanding to a new country? Are you going to invent a totally new product? Or maybe you'll acquire a smaller competitor. These are the big, game-changing decisions.
So you've done the analysis, you've drawn up the plays. But now comes what is arguably the most critical part of all: execution and review. Because, as any coach will tell you, the most brilliant game plan on a whiteboard is totally worthless if the team can't actually execute it on the field.
This is the action stage, and honestly, it's usually the hardest part of the whole thing. It takes incredible discipline and commitment, and it means mobilizing every single person in the company to turn those plans on paper into actual results in the real world.
And a huge part of execution is having a feedback loop. This is your reality check. The best sports teams don't just play the game and move on. No way. They go back and they review the game tape, they see what worked, they see what blew up in their face, and they figure out what to adjust for next time. That is exactly what a feedback loop does for a business.
And this evaluation process never stops. It's a constant cycle. You're always reviewing those key factors from your SWOT to see what's changed. You are constantly measuring your performance against your goals, and most importantly, you take corrective action. You pivot, you adjust. The game plan is a living, breathing thing, not some dusty binder on a shelf.
So, after all that, the scouting, the planning, the executing, the constant reviewing, you might be asking, okay, what's the real payoff here? Why does having this game plan really truly matter?
Well, for starters, let's just talk about the bottom line. The data here is crystal clear. Companies that actually do systematic, strategic planning consistently outperform the ones that don't. And we're not talking about a small difference. We're talking significantly higher sales, better profits, and more productivity. It's a massive advantage.
But you know, the benefits go way beyond just the money. The process itself builds a stronger company. When you involve your whole team in creating the plan, everyone gets a deeper understanding of the business. Communication gets better, people are more committed, and you see way less resistance to change because everyone feels like they're a part of the mission. It really empowers people.
When you boil it all down, it really comes back to this. Strategic management lets a company be proactive, not reactive. It's the difference between being a passenger, just along for the ride in your industry, and being in the driver's seat. You get to shape your own future instead of just responding to what everyone else does. You control your destiny.
And that brings me to my final thought for you. If this whole process is so powerful for a huge company, why wouldn't it be just as powerful for an individual? Think about it for a second. Your career, that's your business. You have your own strengths and weaknesses. You face your own opportunities and threats. So, my question to you is, what's your game plan? What's your strategic plan?